Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to another Stock Kings YouTube video. And today we'll be going over Bionanogenomics, ticker symbol BNGO. Today we'll be going over some possible catalysts facing this stock in the next upcoming weeks and how it will affect the stock moving forward. And we'll also be going over some technical analysis as well as some price predictions so I can let you guys know what I'm looking at and where I see this stock moving forward. But before we get into any of that, I want you guys to go ahead and give a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications so you know whenever we come out with new videos and you can stay up to date with us. And I also love the support from you guys, especially in the last video. Thank you so much for that. I also have my Instagram link down below if you would be interested in following that. So moving forward, I have BNGO pulled up here on the daily chart. And as you can see, we had a pretty big run up all the way up to 15, almost $16 here. And then we have a pretty big rundown. We came down below the 50 EMA, and now we came back up here recently. If you got in anywhere below this like $6 range, you're looking at some pretty good profits right now. We came all the way back up, currently trading at 938 here on the weekend. It is Sunday. And now we've been kind of consolidating in this range here I have set up. And I set up all these support and resistance lines in my last BNGO video. So if you're interested in learning about where I put these and why I put those there, go ahead and tune in to that video. But let's get into this BNGO news and the catalyst that I see moving forward. As you can see here, Bionanogenomics presented at the H.C. Wainwright Global Life Sciences Conference. And they kind of just announced that they were going to be doing this, and this took place on March 9th through the 10th, 2021. And they just kind of talked about, what's going on with the company, their services with the Sapphire system, and that kind of stuff. And they've been kind of doing a lot of these science conferences, explaining their product to people, getting the news out about the product, which I think is excellent. It's very important that they kind of spread the news about what they're doing with this Sapphire system, so people know and can get involved with it, especially at these science conferences. This is pretty big for them. And if they keep doing this, it just shows a lot of confidence from the company in their product, which is huge for them. I won't go into the Sapphire system again. Like, I'm not a scientist. If you guys, if you guys are interested in that, you'll have to look that up and do your own research on the Sapphire system. But basically, it's a genome testing kind of service and tool that scientists and physicians can buy and use on their patients. But yeah, not getting too much into the scientific part of the company. I think this is very important that they're going to these science conferences and spreading the word about their product. But another thing I kind of want to get into is their upcoming earnings on March 23rd. So that's a key date for Bionanogenomics that you guys should mark on your calendars. Let's get into the earnings forecast here on Tip Ranks. So we have the report date here on March 23rd, 2021. This was their last year's earnings, or their EPS, which was negative 23 cents. So that is kind of important to know. This was their last quarter. We'll be looking to beat the last quarter, or the 2019 Q4 for BNGO. We have an analyst consensus being a strong buy. So that's pretty important that analysts are, bullish on this company heading into their earnings. So with this strong buy, you could probably see a pretty big run up in the upcoming weeks leading up to those earnings, which is very important that you guys are aware of that. And that's why the stock most likely will be coming up, leading up to that March 23rd date. So if you are already in this stock, expect a little bit of a run up heading into earnings, as long as it beats this forecasted of negative 0.06 cents. And they also have a price target at 14.33. So that's the analyst price target, which is a 52.77% to the upside. So analysts are really, really interested in this stock, and they can see this stock, especially coming into earnings, as being big. But however, as you know, I've talked about this a lot, after earnings does not always mean the stock will continue up. Most people, after earnings, if there is good news with the earnings, will sell off the stock after the earnings. So expect, the stock to go up leading into earnings, and then the day after earnings, March 24th, expect a significant sell off. So if you are for the short term, I do not recommend being in this stock after earnings. If you are a long term investor in BNGO, you are willing to kind of handle those fluctuations in the stock price, and you will see longer term gains with the stock if you are long term bullish on the stock, BNGO. But that is what we're looking at for earnings date and forecasts from analysts. But also with this strong buy, I wanted to point out that for the US, those stimulus checks are going to be hitting either this upcoming week or the week after. So Americans will have a big influx of cash that they are willing to spend, and they will be looking to invest it in the market. And with these strong buys from analysts, they're going to be looking at this stock as one that has dipped previously or recently and now is coming up backing to be a strong buy. So I would also look after the stimulus checks hit people's bank accounts here in America for this stock to also increase. So we have the catalyst of the earnings and also with stimulus checks. I definitely see this as a stock that will increase in the short term and the long term. But let's get back into some technical analysis. Let's look at the chart here on the daily. As I said before, we have a bit of a rundown here to about $7, holding above this kind of support here. And then we have a run up closing almost above the 50 EMA on the daily, and then we're kind of consolidating in this zone. But with the catalyst that I see coming up, I definitely see this stock increasing to probably test these resistances here. So look for that in the long term. Look for solid confirmations above these zones. Or I also see this right here at 957. As you can see here, it came up tested here on previous price action and also very recently right here at the 957 resistance line. So I would look for entries anywhere above that if you are, interested in the long term. Definitely look for that as a area of entry at 957, and then look for to start taking profits when it gets closes above the next resistance lines as well. But if you're interested in more short-term trades, we can look at the 30-minute, and we'll be discussing a lot of it here. I would like to make this my resistance line right here on this previous price action, as well as the 200 EMA here on the 30-minute. We are trading below the 200 EMA, which is kind of a trouble area. However, we are above the 50, but this is a weaker kind of point of support here at the 50. So I would look for to get in as my entry. I would look for anything to get a solid close above probably this candle where it tried to do so, but it could not sustain this area, and anywhere above the 200 EMA. So that would be your entry point here on BNGO if you are a short term, and then look for it to continue up until the next area of resistance. But let's kind of chart this out so you guys know what I'm talking about, and you can kind of get a visual of what I mean by that. So we're looking for a close above this candle and above the 200 EMA. And we'll be taking our first partial profit here at 1039 with stops just below the support, probably around the low of this candle here. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a room if it does continue to test this as a support if you get a solid break. But however, if it does come down to close below this support line, I would recommend getting out completely, because if you are in the short term and it does start to move bearish back down to this then support line down here, you do not want to be in the stock for that bearish momentum. But however, if we do get a solid close and continues up, we'll be taking our first partial profit here at 1040, 1039. And then we'll be looking to move our next price target up to 1120, which is our next area of resistance. So we'll be moving price up to here at 1036, 1038. And then you can see here we have a huge stop loss, a huge possibility of risking more of our capital than what we want to. So we'll be moving this up as well, up to here at around 10:05, depending on where the candles are. You'll be making that kind of judgment yourself. Obviously, I cannot tell you where the candles are going to be in the future, but that will be up to you. But just make sure you're, increasing it as the price goes up. You don't want to put yourself at risk of the price coming back down and you losing the money that you put in. But yeah, that will be our next price target here at 1120. We'll be looking for solid confirmations above 1038 to continue moving up. And then we can probably place another area of resistance after that. Probably around here based on previous price action. I like the $13 range, 13.32. You can kind of play around with that. If you wanted to put it at 13, That's probably 13.15 is probably a good area as well. But if we get good confirmations, we test past our resistance at 11.20, we'll then be taking even more partial profits, reducing the amount of money that we put in, and then moving our next to our next price target at 11.15, and then our price will then be at the 11.23 range. And again, we still have this ginormous stop loss, so make sure you are trailing this to protect your capital and ensure your gains. So at this point, you can probably make this a little bigger as price moves along, just in case you want to be in for those fluctuations still. However, I recommend definitely still trailing it, and you can continuously adjust it depending on how much risk you're willing to take with your capital. Again, that's up to you. I'm not a financial advisor. I cannot tell you what to do with your money. So that is up to you. And please do your own due diligence on these stocks. Make sure you are making trades that you are confident in. But however, just make sure you're protecting your capital with these stop losses, and make sure you're taking gains at these resistance lines. Make sure you have a plan of attack going into this, and you know when you're going to take your money and when you're going to take your money out. That is super important for you guys to make the gains on your account. But I think that is all the information I had today on BNGO, Bionanogenomics. If you found value in this video, please drop a like, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. I also have my Instagram link down below if you would be interested in that. But as always, guys, I hope you guys have an excellent week. Get some gains in the market tomorrow when the market opens, and have an excellent day. I will see you guys next time. Peace.